What's going on, you guys? Welcome to the Pugilist Critic, where we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly in the sport of boxing. I'm your boy Bushido, and let's talk some boxing. Bozy Ennis, the trainer and father of the supremely talented young welterweight Jerron Boots Ennis, gave his thoughts on Spence versus Crawford. Very hot topic in the sport of boxing right now. The hottest topic in boxing is Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Bud Crawford. And of course, him and Greg Hackett, amongst others. And salute to my boy YSM Sports Media. Y'all go subscribe to YSM Sports Media. That's my boy. He's one of the best media guys, journalist guys, interviewing guys, boxing content creator guys on the East Coast. So go support my boy YSM Sports Media. He's really working hard out here. But Bozianis gave his thoughts on the Spence versus Crawford fight. He said Terrence Crawford from the streets. Check it out.
Like you said,
yeah.
Average motherfucker ain't never seen it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Put it like this: a motherfucker ain't had their life put on the line.
Yeah.
You ain't never had your life put on the line. You ain't gonna understand.
That's what I'm talking
understand what's going on.
This is what I'm
I'm
talking
making
about.
you feel like you about to die.
And this is what I'm talking about. Bud is from the streets. Bud been shot and all that.
Yeah.
Spencer ain't from the streets.
Yeah.
Bud gonna take it to another level. You want to kill Bud.
Make you feel like you about to die.
You want to kill Bud.
Yeah.
But Bud, like I said, Bud got to start off early. If he don't start off early, Spencer gonna walk him down. That's why I said
put him in heat. Don't let him get comfortable.
Spencer's coming for you, man.
No, he gonna
you know what I mean? He gonna come
at that body.
You know what I mean?
He gonna go straight to that body.
And like I said, I don't know how Spencer's raised up, but we know Bud how he was raised up. He's like us.
Right.
We from the street. We fought the street all the time.
Right.
That's how we are.
What about Mayweather? Exception to the rule.
Mayweather? The same thing with Mayweather. He wasn't the star.
He was a fiend.
Oh, and no, his father. And his father was
a hustler.
Yeah.
He said, my uncle shot my daddy.
But listen.
You only see shit like that.
But listen this though. And his fucking father,
on my mother's side.
You hear this? His father put him in front so he wouldn't get shot.
Yeah.
You don't know about that?
That's crazy. I ain't know that. He was holding
a Floyd Jr. Up in his hand.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't shoot. The uncle wouldn't shoot him.
Yeah. So he took a leg.
Roy Jones.
Roy Jones?
He just an animal.
Off.
His pop drove him crazy.
Yeah.
When he killed his dog, his chickens. No, his dog.
His dog. He killed the
He
dog.
shot, he shot at his pop. He shot at his pop too.
Oh shit, I ain't even know that.
He shot at his pop.
Killed my man's dog.
Yeah.
Yo,
Killed my dog.
so as far as with Crawford versus Spence, right?
Yeah.
Crawford is not a natural 147, but he seemed to be stopping everybody at 47. Why?
I think Crawford grew into that weight. That's the 47. You know what I mean? Crawford, when he did make it to 47, how old was he? How old was he?
He was only
Like 20 something. Yeah. So he grew into 147. You know what I mean?
It's the same way as they say, you know how when you get older, you start getting harder to make weight?
Yeah.
He's comfortable going up. Same thing happened with Pacquiao.
Yeah,
Pacquiao got comfortable.
same thing happened with
going
Wichita
to
too. What's the Charlo? He moved it to 160.
60.
You know what I mean? You know, you get older, you start, you know what I mean, hard to make that weight. And then you just, move on up. You know what I mean?
Now, to hear what Bozianis had to say, I would agree. When you come from the neighborhood, right, the streets, not the suburbs, but the streets, your mentality is a little different, right? Your mentality is a little different. You've been through things, you've seen things that a guy from the suburbs may have not seen, right? May have not experienced living in the suburbs. Let's be honest, the suburbs is a little bit more comfortable than the streets, right? Now, some dudes that grew up in the streets, they're used to the streets and they can't get out of the streets. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying being from the streets and living in the streets and being on the streets is a good thing, right? And I'm not saying being from the suburbs is a bad thing. But the mentality, right? And I'm not taking it away. I'm not saying this, or I'm not saying that Errol Spence Jr. is less of a man because he's not from the streets, right? That's not what I'm saying here. But the mentality is different. Crawford is a guy that you will likely have to kill to beat, right? Errol Spence Jr. does display that same characteristic to a degree, but Terrence Crawford, mean dude. He's a mean dude, man. He's coming in there to hurt you. He ain't coming in there to really play around with you. Errol Spence Jr. is the same. So, yeah, and you also heard what he had to say. He said that if Crawford starts slow, and we know Crawford, historically, he starts slow in fights until he gathers the information, and then it's pretty much over from there, right? But if he starts slow against Errol Spence, that could be an issue for Terrence Bud Crawford. But being from the streets, his mentality is different. You have to kill me to beat me. I've seen things, I've been through things that you just wouldn't even imagine, right? That type of thing, right? So, yeah, I'm not saying Spence is less of a fighter or less of a man just because he's from the suburbs of DeSoto, Texas, right? You know, they claim Dallas, you know, it's on the outskirts. That's what people tend to do. If they're by a big city, they tend to claim and rep that city versus the small town or city that surrounds that particular big city, right? Because most people never heard of these smaller towns or cities, so they kind of say, you know what, I'm just from Chicago, or I'm from Philadelphia, I'm from New York, and you probably live somewhere on the outskirts, you know, away from all the crime and all the drama and all the trouble. So yeah, two different type of guys, right? Crawford, he grew up in the streets of Omaha, Nebraska, right? He's from Omaha, Nebraska. It's the hood. You know what I'm saying? It's the hood. It may not be like Chicago or New York, you know, or anything like that, but it is the hood. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, shit happens in the hood, and that's what we do know. So, yeah, man, I'm still waiting on the news for Bushido Boxing to come back up. You know, so thank you guys for subscribing. You know, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to this channel. This is the place you want to subscribe to. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs on this channel. You guys been showing me a lot of love and support, man. I really, really, really appreciate you guys. And I hope everybody have a good day, man. But that's what Bozianis had to say, man. He said Bud is from the streets and Spence is from the suburbs. Like, subscribe, hot your boy. Peace out.